Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's just dive right into this. Today we are looking at an absolutely incredible true story. It's this wild mix of survival, culinary ingenuity, and ultimate redemption. I mean, if you've ever wondered how something truly legendary can be born out of literally the darkest moments of a person's life, you are going to be completely fascinated by the journey we're about to unpack. We are going to explore the remarkable origin story of the famous jungle restaurant.
And that brings us to the core mystery we're unraveling today. How exactly did a false accusation give birth to a legendary jungle restaurant? It's a super compelling question, right? Just imagine losing your home, your reputation, the whole shebang, all because of something you or someone you love supposedly did. We are going to look at how a truly devastating event, specifically a father's sudden disappearance, didn't destroy his family, but actually led directly to the creation of a booming culinary empire.
All right, Section 1, A Family Exiled. The burden of debt. Let's meet our protagonists, Manu and his mother, Chavi, whose peaceful lives are about to be turned completely upside down.
So, let's walk through how quickly everything just totally falls apart for this well-respected family. A few days prior to their exile, Manu's father, Rakesh, brings what he thinks is a great proposal to the village council. You see, the village was really struggling with farm irrigation. They had hardly any electricity, and buying diesel for the pumps was just way too expensive. So Rakesh proposes buying solar panels to solve this issue once and for all. Point 2. The villagers trust him. They pool all their hard-earned money together. But then, point 3 happens. Rakesh vanishes without a trace. No phone calls, no warnings, just gone. And finally, point 4, believing Rakesh stole their funds, the furious villagers exile Manu and Chavi right into the wilderness.
And it all boils down to the staggering number right here. 1 lakh rupees. Now, to put that into perspective, this was an absolutely enormous sum of money for a small farming community. The village headman, this sarpanch, slapped Manu and Chavi with this massive debt. They were basically told, don't even think about coming back until you can repay every single penny. So with zero money and literally nowhere to go, this mother and son are forced to wander deep into the unforgiving, pitch-black jungle, completely terrified and starving. Moving on to Section 2. Discovering the Veda tribe, a culinary rescue. Facing starvation in the dark jungle, mother and son are suddenly intercepted by a stranger named Timba. Now this is where the story pivots from a total tragedy into pure culinary magic. Timba is a member of the indigenous Veda tribe, and he serves them this incredible ancestral menu. We're talking dishes they had never even heard of, let alone tasted. A totally unique banana vegetable dish, a spicy, tangy eggplant tomato chutney, and their famous potato rice, which is also known as aloo bhat. The Veda tribe crafted these natural dishes using secret ancestral spices, and honestly, the taste was an absolute revelation. Manu and Chavi's taste buds were awakened in a way they never, ever expected to experience deep in the wilderness.
Section 3. Birth of the Jungle Restaurant, Nature's Kitchen. While eating this extraordinary food, Manu suddenly has a brilliant light bulb moment. He realizes that sharing this unique indigenous forest food could actually be their golden ticket. It could be the way they repay that massive debt and finally clear their family's name. But they faced a huge logistical hurdle. How do you keep food hot on a mobile cart all day long when you have absolutely no electricity? Well, Timba teaches them this mind-blowing zero electricity method. Step 1. You place the hot food in traditional clay pots, called handies. Step 2. You store those pots inside a wooden box. Step 3. You pack and cover everything really tightly with natural forest grass. And the result? Step 4. The food stays piping hot for 6 to 7 hours. It acts as a perfect, natural thermos. It's genius. And what's really cool is that everything about their business model was 100% natural and eco-friendly. They served these incredible meals in small clay bowls and tied them shut with fresh banana leaves. When they finally took their wooden cart out to the local villages, the food sold out almost instantly. People were just blown away by the flavors and this beautifully natural presentation. Soon enough, they made enough money to upgrade from that humble little cart to a highly successful actual brick-and-mortar restaurant they called the Jungle Dabbar.
Which brings us to Section 4, Disaster and Duty, the Floods of Rojapur. Just as the Jungle Dabba is totally thriving, catastrophic news arrives about the very village that exiled them.
The farms of Rojapur are completely underwater, homes are destroyed, and the villagers are left totally homeless and starving. Now you might be thinking Manu would just ignore them, right? I mean, they literally threw him out.
But he remembers this really powerful philosophy from Tiemba: love and service are our fundamental duties. When nature gives us so much, we must help others. Manu actually reminds his mother of this. He says, look, when we were starving out in the jungle, a stranger helped us. Now it was their turn to step up and be the helpers, even to the exact people who had wronged them so deeply.
So they step up in a huge way. They provide 2 solid months of free meals. Manu and Chavi rush back to the flooded village, gather everyone up, and yes, that includes the Serpent who exiled them, and bring them all back to the jungle daba. They shelter and feed the entire village, 3 hearty meals a day without charging them a single penny. And they keep this up for 2 full months until the floodwaters finally recede. But here's the catch. By the end of it, they've exhausted all their hard-earned resources. Their thriving jungle restaurant is now facing total bankruptcy.
Section 5. The tragic truth revealed. A hero's legacy. So the restaurant is completely bankrupt, and out of nowhere, a police jeep suddenly pulls up. An inspector steps out of the vehicle, walks right over to Manu, and hands him a heavy bag. Inside, the missing 1 lakh rupees. And guys, this is where the emotional plot twist really hits hard. For all this time, the village believed Rakesh stole their money and ran. But the tragic truth revealed by the inspector was entirely different. Rakesh never betrayed them. Actually, scratch that. He was the victim. The friend who originally promised those solar panels scammed him. Too ashamed to return to his neighbors empty-handed, Rakesh went rogue. He tracked down the scammers himself, fought them to get the money back, and managed to call the police. But the scammers killed him before the authorities could get there. He didn't run away. He died a hero trying to protect his village's investment.
It's just an incredibly moving, heavy moment. The villagers are finally told the truth, and they are just completely overcome with guilt. Think about it. A father gave his life for their money, and his son literally gave up his entire restaurant business to feed them during a deadly flood. And yet the village had treated them like criminals. In tears, the villagers apologize. They actually insist that Manu keep the recovered money to rebuild his now bankrupt restaurant. He does exactly that, but he gives it a new, honorable name, Rakesh Daba, restoring his father's legacy forever. And that brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. When you are faced with injustice, how can you use your own success to forgive and actually uplift your community? Manu and Shavi could have so easily held on to their anger and bitterness, but instead they channeled the kindness they found in the jungle into a massive culinary success, and then used that success for profound, radical forgiveness. I really want you to think about that in the context of your own life. How can you transform a personal setback into something that serves others? Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.